Hi everyone, thank you very much for stopping by and returning to the old world. Today we're looking at the product I'm attempting for my September pledge for 2024 in a little bit more detail. And yes, that involves a what's in the box. So for September 2024, my target was to paint up a unit of 3 Rockgut Troggoths. They are going to be trolls in my Orc and Goblin force for Warhammer The Old World. In this video we'll touch on the models themselves, how they look rules-wise for the game, and then I'll talk about how they look once they are painted up. So let's start this out by looking at what's in the box. What we get in this box of Warhammer Age of Sigmar, Gloomspite Gitz Rockgut Troggoths. Well, we can see from the art and the box, we are looking at 3 figures. They look fairly interesting. They look traditionally mountain stone troll sort of things from the artwork. But let's see at the figures themselves and what we think of them. So there's 3 sprues in the pit, and boy oh boy, are there a lot of parts. Now normally when I'm looking at a sprue, I'm just kind of seeing how do I think things are going to come together, what does the quality overall look like, does it look like something that's interesting. I'll be honest, looking at this is something I'm really struggling to do. Yes, there's an instruction pack, and yes, there are 3 round bases. This is for Age of Sigmar after all, in the box as well. But just from looking at the parts, I'm really struggling to see how they'll go together. I don't think there's going to be a lot of customization opportunities unless I really start hacking these things up, which I'm somewhat loath to do. So it does look like this kit really does suffer from Games Workshop's current obsession with overcomplicated models when it comes to building. I would have thought you could have done these in relatively few parts, but still allowing things for customization such as angles, arms, heads, etc. going to be at. I very much doubt that'll be an opportunity here. These models do very, very much look like stone trolls, so I can't see using them as river trolls in their future. I might get away with using them as regular trolls, but I think my options really are, as I say, common trolls or stone trolls. So let's have a look at the rules for the various troll mobs for the orcs and goblins. And I'm really going to focus on the common troll mobs and stone troll mobs because I can't see these models realistically fitting in as river trolls. Now, interestingly, your common troll mobs at 41 points a model come in at 4 points cheaper than a stone troll, and the stat differences are very slight. Common trolls have an initiative of 2 against an initiative of 1 for stone trolls, though the stone trolls do have a leadership value of 5, so 1 pip higher for their 45 points cost a model. Aside from this, they share stats at movement 6, weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 1, strength 5, toughness 4, 3 wounds each, 3 attacks each. So a reasonable amount of hitting power, okay toughness, but very poor initiative and leadership values, and a weapon skill that quite frankly would be nice if it was higher. Trolls are unsurprisingly monstrous infantry, coming on a 40mm by 40mm base, armed with hand weapons, have the Troll Vomit special rule, and count as wearing light armour. They are capable as well of either being equipped with additional hand weapons at plus 3 points a model or great weapons at plus 4 points a model. Given their pretty rubbish initiative scores, it really doesn't seem that you're going to see much of a disadvantage from a great weapon, as you're going to be fighting last most of the time anyway, so it would seem sensible to be dishing out the most damage you possibly can. That might be a bit of a contentious point. I've not run with trolls yet or really seen them used that much. So do let me know if you've had much success with trolls. and whether you're equipping them with additional weapons, with great weapons, or leaving them just with bog standard hand weapons. Do comment down in the comments below. Thank you very much. So the common trolls and stone trolls have a number of special rules in common. Both of them have armor bane 1, so getting an extra pip of damage on that roll to wound of a 6. They're close order infantry, so that's good for getting +1 to their combat resolution. They cause fear, potentially useful. I've not seen fear being massively strong so far, certainly not like it was back in 6th, 7th edition, and to be honest, I'm quite alright with that. They've got regeneration of 5+, so that's really going to add to their ability to shrug off damage, although they are flammable. So they are going to be vulnerable to some weapons, making that regen save, well, pretty much non-existent. They also all suffer from stupidity. So with low leadership values, you're going to need a hero or general to keep them company, to keep them moving in the right direction. But where is the difference? And that difference comes from stone trolls having armored hide 1, so boosting their armor save, and also magic resistance of -1, making them a bit less of a reliable target for enemy wizards to target. Is that worth an additional 4 points? A lot of enemy units, their access to flaming stuff, which trolls really don't like, is going to be spells. So that would really make the magic resistance -1 quite useful, particularly if they're supported by a wizard being in range of the enemy sorcerers or whatever it is that's probably carrying the ruby ring of ruin. That's something that will definitely help keep them alive. As for armored hide, I don't think that's going to make a world of difference. A 6-up armor save and a 5-up armor save, neither of them are particularly valuable, and I think saves of 5-up, 6-up, even to an extent 4-up, are pretty easy to bypass, so I don't think that's going to be hugely beneficial. However, against, I suppose, regular rank and file units armed with spears or hand weapons and things that aren't giving them armor bane or armor piercing of any description, yeah, you are effectively doubling the armor save. So in those sort of matchups, could be useful. And I guess these models really are going to be things you'll need to be careful of the matchup. It's been a little while since I was able to make the first part of this video, but I have now been able to assemble and paint these 3 figures. It took longer than I expected, but I did manage to get them done within my projected time frame for the pledge, which was by the end of September. So without any further ado, let's have a look at what I thought around building these models and getting them painted up. As you can probably tell from this chap's pose, well, the models weren't necessarily that easy to put together. They really do suffer, as anticipated from Games Workshop, and their overcomplication of models. There's so many bits, but they only go together in certain ways. Now, I think there is some element of good fortune in that this kit does allow for a variety of arms. There's plenty of heads, etc. But once you've chosen what bits you want to use, they only go together in a very particular way. So I think it does take some quite good modelling skill if you want to make some conversions and if you want to make models unique to you. Having said that, this is not the result of good modelling, despite the different pose to one you'd expect. This comes from me making a mistake. You can probably just about see that I got the legs in the wrong places, and I only realised I'd done that when it came to trying to put the model on a base and realising it looked, well, pretty poorly balanced. I was quite fortunate in that just putting a little bit of sprue under the foot there, you can probably just about see, meant that I was able to balance the figure and the basing material, which is from Geek Gaming Scenics, really hides the fact that I've had to do that. I think this model actually in this pose does reflect the stupidity rule to a certain extent of the trolls and gives them a little bit more character. Overall, I was a little bit concerned about painting these models. There's very large expanses of similar colour, and I did have to go through a little bit of soul searching to an extent to really think about what colour scheme I wanted to go for. I did think about looking at maybe the traditional stone troll sort of look of blues into flesh tones, or drawing through from the blues, so lots of wet blending to gradually go from a blue into a much paler colour for the skin. But I thought that's something I wasn't confident I'd have the skill or time to do. So I've opted for this, which is purple on the stone bit, sort of representing more of a crystallized skin tone, and then greys on the more normal flesh. They did take a while to paint. Actually, I'm really pleased with how they've come out, though. I think they look pretty interesting. Perhaps in a way that my clunky camera phone isn't able to necessarily pick out to their best. But overall, yeah, pretty pleased with the results. And I'm definitely looking forward to getting these lads on the table as soon as possible. All that remains for me to say is thank you very much for listening to my comments, my review on these particular models. I hope you found it useful. As always, if you've enjoyed this video, do please consider dropping a like and subscribing to the channel generally if that's your bag. And do check out the wider back catalogue in case you think there might be some stuff in there that interests you. Once again, thank you very much for listening. I am Return to the Old World. Have a great day.